Good morning. All right, today I'd like to continue on with my bolt series. This is number 3. This is the straight bolt. This is out of my Steyr model M95. Um, Before we get started, there's a couple things I'd like to say. Is number one, I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a different computer. This one I bought. It's a refurbished, but it seems to work better. The picture looks better on it. The the audio is a lot better on it, so hopefully be able to get stuff out there so that people can hear what I'm saying. The second thing is, I looked at my statistics on my YouTube page, and I joined back in August of last year, and I have 217 subscribers, which I think is a pretty good number. I'd like it to be higher, obviously, but it's a good number. I mean, it's more than I guess I expected it to be when I first started out. But the more amazing number is the views number, and I have just over 23,000 people have come to view my videos. I know they didn't all stay. Some of them came and looked at it and left, but 23,000 views. Thank you. If you come here and you view my videos and you like them, go ahead and subscribe, and that way there you can get updates on what I'm doing, and then you don't miss out. But I guess the bottom line is you just come and look at my videos. Thank you very much, and like I said, it makes it worth it. A lot of work. It may not appear like it, but a lot of work goes into my videos, and it's nice to see that people would appreciate it. Anyway, so here we go. We're back to this is the Steyr M95. I love the stacking rod that's on here, but the M95 carbine. It's an 8x50. It's unique. The Mannlicher 8x50 is a unique round. This was built in 1916. So it was in both wars. It was in World War I as part of the Austrians, and and then after World War I, it was a long rifle. They took and they cut down all their long rifles into carbines, and they distributed them out as part of war reparations. This one in particular, as far as I know, went to Italy, and the reason that I know that it went to Italy is because it's still in the 8x50 original configuration. The Italians left it in the original configuration, where the other places that got Bulgaria, I think, got them, and what they did was they rechambered them to the 8x57, 8x56. I'm sorry, 8x56, and which was a much more powerful round, and the Italians used this during World War II. They used it for their home guard, and they used it for other things. So it's a good rifle. It gives a hell of a kick when you shoot it. Her name is Inga, and she's I call her my Bulgaria volcano. Not my Austrian volcano, because when you shoot her, she makes so much noise, and flames shoot out the end, which is pretty cool too. So what you do is you can't buy the rounds; you have to reload them, and the rounds are very close to the Russian Mosin round, and so you can take that brass and reform it, and it'll fit inside this gun. So, but anyway, I did a whole story on it, a whole video on it. Go on back and look at it. It's a good video, I think. It was very popular, and it's a fun gun to have. It really is. It's a fun gun to have. So anyway, now here we go. Here's the bolt. The bolt is, like I said, is a straight pull, so you grab it and you just pull back. You don't have to turn it at all. It just pulls back. There were advantages to that, where number one, it's quicker. You don't have to do as many motions, so it's quicker. You pull it back, push forward, push back, forward. One of the things that you can do when you're using it is, if you're sighted in, you just have to, and you don't have to lose your sight. You can continue on, whereas with the bolt, the turning bolt, and I know you can do it, but this just makes things a whole lot easier. if you notice, it's a this is the cocking piece here. We've talked about the cocking piece. It gets caught on the sear, and that's what when you let go of the sear by pulling the trigger, that's when the bolt goes forward. The firing pin goes forward, and it causes the chambered round to fire. So what we're going to do is we're going to push it in. I'm trying to do it so people can see it. Let's see. This one cocks on putting the closing the chamber. That's how this one works here. As it goes by, the cocking piece catches on the sear underneath, and the bolt goes forward, but the cocking piece stays behind, and that's how it cocks. This also has a feature where if you have a round in the chamber and you don't want to chamber the cycle the bolt through, it's got a little handle thing on it like that. You can pull it, and now your weapon is cocked and ready to go. Since the bolt doesn't move, something has to move to lock the bolt in the chamber, and you have these lugs up here on the bolt head. So when you push it in, the bolt head, it's the way it's designed up here inside the front of the chamber. It causes those things to rotate like that, so that when it's locked in, the lugs are up and down inside the chamber, or the opening of the chamber. Okay, when you take it out, one of the things that you have to do is pull it back. Unlike other rifles, this is the only one I know that's like this, and I'm sure people have rifles that do the exact same thing, but this one doesn't. This was the first one that I ever had. Is normally you pull the trigger and the bolt comes out. Well, not with this one. I bought the gun and I didn't realize that. Nobody told me that, and I brought it home and I was trying to get the bolt out, and I couldn't get the bolt out. And I was, so what's the problem? Why won't the bolt come out? Well, the problem is you have to push the trigger forward, and the bolt will come out. Inside, there's your sear. So when you pull the trigger, it goes down, and it allows the cocking piece to come off, and everything slides forward. Up forward here, and it's kind of blocked by, I'm trying to think of the best angle to do that. You can see here, see this little piece right here? When you pull the trigger, it goes up, and when it goes up, it goes into that, and that helps lock the bolt in place for when you fire it. So that's pretty good. You have two ridges right here, and those fit inside there. Since the bolt doesn't have to rotate, but when you put your bolt in, you put it underneath there. It helps add stability to the bolt for when you get ready to fire it. Okay, here's your bolt here. Here's your safety. It's your bolt sits like this, so up is safe, down is not safe. Here's your lugs right here. They're sitting inside the extractor. This is the ready position here. Okay, this is not getting ready to fire. This has to rotate, like I said, around so that the two lugs are up and down, and that way there your bolt is locked in. This is like the ready position here, and it has to be in this position to both get the bolt in and out of the receiver itself. So okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little table, and we'll take this thing apart. It's interesting inside, and I think you'll enjoy it. So okay, well, hold on. Okay, so this is your bolt here. Okay, we've got it out, and we're going to take it apart. It's in the ready position right now, and you know that because the bolt head is extended out. Okay, So because it's extended out, it's putting a lot of tension on that spring that's inside there, and it's going to be more difficult to take apart. So what you want to do is you want to put this actually in the fire position that it's been fired. So in order to do that, you can take and you can twist this thing. It's on a pretty powerful spring, and I've done that. And when it springs back, it's going to catch a piece of your flesh inside the inside of it. So what you got to do is you can take it, just bang it on a hard surface, and it'll turn itself like it's firing. I just use a little rubber hammer there. Now you can see where the lugs have turned, firing pins out, and it's no longer inside the extractor. The extractor goes up and down with the bolt head when the bolt head moves up and down. You go to the back here to the cocking piece, and what you got to do is turn it. And it's in there pretty good. And with the safety on this is kind of a pain in the butt, because it'll go on its own because it's pretty loose. Okay. The cocking piece, so it's got its little beak that it holds on to the sear with. Now your rotating bolt head, you just pull it up and it'll come out. Your extractor. The extractors, I've pointed out last time on military rifles, especially the old ones, they're huge. They're huge. And they're necessary. So now you have, this is the internal part of the bolt head that extends out. What I'm going to do is there's a little end on here. That little end has grooves in it that you want to line up with this. We'll talk about that when we get ready to put the bolt back together again. So I'm going to take this off, and out comes your firing pin and your spring. Now inside here, and I don't know if I can show it or not. Oh, that's the groove. Trying to do it without glaring people out here. Maybe I can't show it. Oh, there's one right there. Okay. So what I'm looking at is inside there are two pins, one on either side of the bolt sleeve. They correspond with these grooves that are on your bolt head. So when this is the ready position that they have for the bolt head, which we showed you when we first started out. And when you push it in, what happens is you can see the lugs turn, and they go like that so that it's ready to be shot. And then when you pull it out, it extends back out again, like it back into the ready position when you push it in. So okay, so there you go. So that's what keeps things in line when the bolt head's turning. This keeps it so that it's in line, so that everything is able to be repeated over and over again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back together. There's some tricks to it. Put your firing pin and your spring in. Put this little thing. That's a good sized spring in there. Austrians obviously were very, very strong people. Okay. Like I said, the little piece, you got to line the lines up with that. Okay, here's one of the tricky parts here to put it together. Your this is the slot here for your extractor. To put this inside, put it inside, and what I do is I try to line up that this slot up here in the bolt head with that, and that should actually put you inside one of those grooves there. Rotate it a little bit. This is actually a pretty tricky bolt. For me anyway, I don't do it enough, is what it is. So it's actually pretty tricky to there we go, it's in. Okay, so now it's in. So like I said, when we first started out, this line was in line with that, where the extractor goes. What you do then is you take your extractor and you slide your extractor in and push it down. Now, I often have problems putting this in, so what I've done is I figured out that I get a little help from my rubber mallet, and you just tap it, and there you go, it's in. Now, once you get it in, don't go pulling it back out again, because there's a little lip on the outside of the extractor out here that when you pull it out, it's going to get stuck again. So you're going to have to go through pushing it back in again. So just leave it like that for now. You want to make sure while you're doing all that that your safety is off. There's nothing worse than getting this thing all the way in and then realizing you have your safety on, because it just won't work. You have to make sure that the safety is off. You take this, do just the opposite. You have to pull it out a little bit to get the cocking piece past the bolt head. Turn it. This bolt, I don't work with it enough, so there we go. And then turn it some more. And it'll stop. When it stops, turn it back. It'd be about a half turn until the cocking piece fits back inside its groove. Now, I said that this thing has to be in the ready position in order to be put inside your rifle, and that's not the ready position that it's in. To get that, you have to reach. Some people use a rag or something because it does kind of wear on your fingers after a while. What you got to do is reach down with this hand, and then with this hand pull up on those two lugs. The two lugs will turn, and it goes up and it stays in the ready position. Okay, we'll do that again. Pull up on it and see, and it turns, and now it's in the ready position. Take your rifle, you line it up, you put those two rails inside there, and there you are. I'm certainly not the best person in the world as far as speed for that bolt and the getting the bolt head in, but you know, certainly if it was something that I worked with, if I was a soldier that had one of these guns, then I certainly would be a lot better at it than I am. And anyway, it's a beautiful rifle. The M95 Inga has really brought me a lot of joy and a lot of joy to fire. And anyway, well, thank you for watching. And like I said, if you like what you see, subscribe. We're going to continue on with the bolt series, and I think the next bolt that we're going to do is the I'm trying to think. Maybe we'll do the Enfield next. The Enfield is kind of a complicated bolt to mess with. The British had made that a safe bolt, and it works great. But to get it out, to get it apart and do what you have to do with it, it's a difficult bolt. We'll show it. And anyway, hey, thank you very much for watching.